Peace, Nobles. Just know that a lot of you all are waiting on your orders, on your tracking numbers and your membership account. That's for the for those May orders and also the affiliate orders. Just know that things are on the move. Nothing is moving out right now because today is the Dragon Boat Festival, so it's a holiday in China. So the shipping ports will be back up and added tomorrow and the day after tomorrow. That's when the shipments will start really moving. And probably within the next 3 days, you should start seeing a tracking number in your membership account of www.yourmatd.org. You'll be able to see your tracking numbers should be there in a few days. So please stay tuned. No need to send me an email and ask me when are you getting your stuff. It's just a holiday. That's how they do it. That's great. You're welcome. Thank you. You know, I try to do my best to bring the information as clear as I possibly can because I always get questions about this information, and it is a somewhat complicated subject for many people to kind of grasp the idea behind status correction. And I think it is especially different for people that haven't domiciled abroad to understand how international relationships work and how things happen inside of the realm of international law. Hello. She's looking at me like, who is this guy here? Hi. Oh. Don't close yourself. So yeah, the children are always curious. But anyway, that's what's going on as far as with the processing and that. And my idea was just to make everything easy to understand, right? Simplified information. And I kind of want to get into a more quieter space. I need to get in a more quieter space where there's not children screaming behind me and stuff. Thank you so much. But I mean, people, I'm still learning myself, so I don't know it all. I'm always trying to improve. That's what I'll always try to do, right? So just trying to improve and do what it is that I'm supposed to do, and make it inexpensive for you to correct your status. No need to go out there and spend hundreds and like thousands of notes just to correct your status. It's not necessary, right? So does anyone have any questions about anything? My aim was to get on here and just let you all know that the shipments are out. Today is a Dragon Boat Festival today here in China. I'm going to go out with my family here and go see some dragon boat racing on one of the rivers here, and just take a chill pill for the day. Back in the office tomorrow, and also just know that those packages should be moving from the shipping port at least by the day after tomorrow, and within the next few days, this coming week, you will see your tracking number in the membership account. China generally has a lot of holidays, which is smart because they have holidays, they're able to get people out to spend money, which stimulates the economy, right? It's genius. Does anyone have any questions about the video, the executor letter, or any of that? If you have a question, now is your time. I'd rather you have you answer, I'd rather have you ask the question now instead of sending me some long drawn out email, because those emails, they do take time to reply back to. What you have to, the concept that you have to grasp in your mind is that it's all about shipping, right? It's all about shipping. The transatlantic slave trade is in your mind, right? It never really happened. It happened in your mind. They got your mind to think that you came from somewhere else on their ships when you were born, you were already born on their ship when you got that birth certificate. It's all technology, right? They've been playing these games for a long time. So you think that it's actually something real that is taking place, but the transatlantic slave trade, that took place mentally, not physically. It's mental, right? It's technology, psychology, to get you to think that you came from somewhere else. This is the reason why you need to change your status, right? Because they ain't shipping no millions of nobody to nowhere during no hurricane season, five months out of a year. It's impossible, right? You choose to stay on their ships if you want to and bind yourself to privileges, right? Right? Slaves only get privileges, just like they got privileges on Sunday, right? On the so-called Lord's Day, they got privileges. The corporation determines to you when and how you and what you're going to get those privileges, how those privileges are going to come, instead of you having constitutionally secured rights. But you consent to it. So if you consent to it, then you're a party to it. Right? A lot of the abuse that you're suffering is because you've consented to the abuse. Right? You're willing to contract with them. You're willing to carry the devil's identification instead of getting your own and living in honor of your ancestors. I don't know about you. I don't want to be walking around with the same forms of identification as pedophiles and rapists and all of these kind of people, right? Right? I don't know about you. I would want to have identification that distinguishes myself away from such people. Right? So you got to think about that. If you identify with them, then you're a party to that. You're a party with all of that. Right? Any questions? Moorish American travel document is here, and it's here to stay. Right? Get yours today. www.yourmatd.org. Right? The link is in my bio. Used around the world. Also tax obligatory, non-tax obligatory status on the land. I got nothing but 4 years of proof, facts, and receipts here on IG. You don't know about me? Ask someone. Right? Yes, the children get the state national documents as well. Because, see, here's the thing. When you were born in a particular state, the certificate of live birth, that comes from the state. That means that you were really born a state national. When they took that certificate of live birth and mailed it off to get you a birth certificate without your knowledge of what that was doing to you, they put you under the statutory jurisdiction when they did that. Right? Me, I never received a birth certificate. Right? Some people, very few people have never received a birth certificate. Right? What I received was a certificate of live birth. Right? Now you will find that in some cases, they'll even let you use a certificate of live birth to get a U.S. passport. But they will tell you that a certificate of live birth can't be used to claim U.S. citizenship. They'll tell you that because it's not U.S. citizenship jurisdiction. That's state national jurisdiction because that was stamped by a registrar of the state of the state jurisdiction. You see? Whereas the birth certificate is, that is under that compact of, the Union State Society, right? Which is really a society that was really made for those, European Americans. Originally, that's what it was for. It wasn't made for you. They was trying to keep you out. No, all you need is a document for non-tax. All you need is this. This is all you need for non-tax. Your non-tax obligatory status is in here. You see? This is under AA 222141, non-tax. Right? You see? This has the non-tax information in it. It has the Moorish Zodiac Constitution inside. This is all you need for non-taxation. Many places, they just enter this number in, AA 222141, and it just shows up, non-tax. You don't need any other forms. You don't need to go filing anything with your former corporate slave masters or any of that stuff. You don't need any of that. I've solved all of those problems for you already. That's what I've been trying to tell the people. Right? All that stuff is already done. I have the easiest, most effective, and cheapest way to get all of the documents that you need. And I am the Grand Sachem for North America, the American State National Grand Sachem. I'm the only one that has produced a seal that was able to dock in Admiralty Maritime internationally. Basically, that's just the truth. I'm not trying to make nothing of myself, but nobody else has ever done it. I'm the king without a crown. I'm just telling you what it is, from a trust standpoint, right? I'm the trustee of that seal, and I've gotten that seal to dock in several countries already, right? And my indigenous bloodline is on record. And I've never received a birth certificate. I'm totally Dejure, right? That's the reason why this stuff can work, and some of these other nation states realize that, right? I'm the real Sachem for North America. If people haven't figured that out yet, they better have figured it out by now. You'd be surprised. Some places I go here in China, they treat me like royalty. You'd be surprised. Like, so many people are so late to the show already. You want to go keep following these people that's trying to lead you somewhere and all of that stuff, and it's like, man, you got me here now. Why you still listening to these people? They ain't hit nothing. Like I said, to all of my Pan-Africanists, right? To all of my Pan-Africanists that want to go back to Africa, where is your travel document? That's all I want to know. Where is your travel document to go back to Africa, since you're so African, my brother? Because just the acceptance of the Moorish American travel document by some of these other nations, they already know that that's not who you are. So while all these people telling you y'all ain't Moors or whatever, well, these other nation states, they agree that we are. Right? That's why we got the only document that works. How about that? For the state national documents, you want to keep the name that's on the birth certificate. For the Moorish American documents, you can use the same name and add El or Bay to it, or come up with a new name, because that is your private name under your indigenous bloodline. That's how that works. Any other questions? Do I need National ID license plates to claim indigenous land and live on it. National ID license plates. I'm confused. If you want to claim indigenous land, the first step to claiming indigenous land is to do what? Have your identification in place and start your indigenous allodial trust, right? Everything starts from trust, right? And those properties that are up, that are vacant, you can start by trying to claim those properties that are vacant, but you want to do everything legally and make sure that everything goes through the county clerk so that it's on file, right? You don't want to do what some other Moors have done in the past when it comes to like reversion of state, and then they just went and just slapped Moorish documents on the door as if that was going to protect them, right? Right? Noble Ali said he was going to keep them around long enough to teach you how to run government. So that means that when it comes to you wanting to put something on notice so that there is a proper understanding of a situation, that's when you would notify them through their county clerk office, because the county has a higher jurisdiction than the municipality. Right? The county was the first ship before there was the municipalities and the cities and even the states. The counties were there first. Right? So you want to deal with the county record. And you want to do your study. Because I'm not going to tell you how to do that. Why? Because every state has its own laws. Remember, every state there is like its own country. They have their own laws and they have their own constitution. They have their own flag. Right? So that is it. You see what I mean? So when you're claiming property in a particular state, right? That's what you're doing. You're doing it within side of the republic there, because the American state national jurisdiction is the topsoil and 6 inches down. That's the national jurisdiction of the state. The Moorish international jurisdiction is 6 inches down across borders, right? That's for the Moorish American nationality, because those are our resources. That is our ancestral estate. Our ancestral estate is across borders at North America. Right? So that's how that works out. Any questions? Right? So, you always, there is no one way fixes all kind of situation when it comes to doing something like claiming indigenous land and that. The more and more people that correct their status, the more and more we've already claimed our indigenous land back. Because we're the heirs of the estate. The fact is that too many of our people are still in a de facto status. That's why we don't have control of our resources. Right? So what are you going to do? I mean, a lot of the elites and those people, their birth rate is already down. What are you going to do? You're going to keep on staying in a dead status while their birth rate is down and just leaving all of the power in the hand of like a few people to control you, instead of just, becoming whole again and taking charge of your estate and leaving true wealth, right? True wealth to your posterity. Right? Got to be in your proper status. You understand? So you're being ruled by people that came across Ellis Island and that identify themselves now as being what? They'll say they're American, but they're German, Italian, French, right? They'll claim their national descent, as Noble Ali said. What's your national descent? right? Well, many of our national descent were Cherokee, Choctaw, right? Nanticoke, right? But the fact is that over time, they got on the European ship to where they lost all of their birthrights and ended up on reservations and stuff. And this is the reason why, even though many of us, like myself, I'm of Monacan and Choctaw descent, many of us, we go to our Moorish side for status correction because we are mixed in with the Moors and Huguenots, and they are the first ones to establish the Continental Congress. This is the way we get back on the proper ship, because those names like Monacan, Chata, Aniyanwea, these are family names that set up state nationals, right? State nations. These states like Virginia and Georgia and all of that, before they were under the indigenous names, right? Which a lot of those names are still indigenous, but they were under the indigenous names like Yamasee, right? Yamasee before was a state. Cherokee before was a state. Aniyanwea, that was a state, right? These were the states, right? It's not that the people are of a different bloodline because they come under a different name or even a different so-called ethnicity. Those were the names of the states, you see? And the sheriff is the sharif, right? The sharif was the chief head of those states under what is called the sachem or the sachem, right? Which the sachem is equivalent to a senator, and some sachems were kings. That's how each state was ran on the land indigenously. You understand? The thing is since all of those ancestors from the so-called Native American tribes, they gave up their birthrights and signed their rights away. Now we have to go to the origin of the law that was established on the land, which is our Moorish pedigree. Those Moors that came from Portugal and Spain and came over and began to set up laws on the land and set up structure on the land. Now you understand why there are so many people now that, although they claim their so-called tribal descent, they still get Moorish American documents, because it's the only way to get back on the proper ship. Remember, the United States Corporation is a ship, and all of their courtrooms are ships in dry dock. And whenever you have a ship, that means that you need an Admiralty maritime document, meaning your tribal card does not mean a damn thing to them, right? You need a travel document or a passport when you're dealing in international commerce. Now you understand why there is a such thing called the Moorish American travel document. It's the only way to lawfully, legally, and lawfully get on the proper ship, right, to do battle with them, right? Because without this, you're going to be doing battle with them, and they're going to have you fill out some form with a black ink pen because they're pirates, right? And notice that the forms that they fill out, they never have a flag on them, do they? They say that they're American, but they never put a flag on their documents, do they? They just give you a black ink pen. Pirates never identify themselves, do they? But they give you a black ink pen to fill out stuff, which black means death, right? And you still haven't figured it out yet. This is an interesting thing. You still haven't figured it out yet, right? So interesting, right? Now, is all of this making sense now? I just try to make things so clear that even a child can understand it. Right? Right? It's all about having the proper tool to be able to exercise your constitutional rights. Like they say, don't bring a knife to a gunfight, right? Don't bring a tribal card into an international jurisdiction. They're going to tear you a new one every single time. You know how many people have put the Moorish American travel document on the court record and have shut the courtroom down? Have scared the hell out of the judge because he knows that if he moves forward, he's going to lose his job. He could be disbarred. He could be sued for his private property. Do you know how many people have done that over the last 4 years? Right? Because you're not bringing a knife to a gunfight. Right? You're bringing a damn, you're bringing a, you're bringing a missile. You're bringing a missile to a gunfight. That's what's happening when you do that. Right? So, any questions? Our people got to wake up, man. They be on this stupid stuff. And it's like, man, don't you understand what's happening to you? Jesus is not coming to save you. Muhammad's not coming. Ain't nobody coming from the sky to save you. I'm sorry to tell you. You're going to have to save yourself. Your ancestors put me here to bring this information and to bring these products to you so that you can save yourself. You have to be your own carpenter and start building your own house, right? You yourself have to become a carpenter like Jesus. You need the right tools in your hand so that you can free yourself. You say some people have a hard time getting past a post-Spanish rule. Yeah, because, the Spanish are the Moors. Look in the clock of destiny. We are the quote-unquote Spaniards, even though most of us don't speak Spanish anymore. Some of us do. Right? When they say Spaniard, that's just another name for Moor. That is a name that King Ferdinand and Queen Isabella gave the Moors after they conquered the land, right? And gave it the name Spain after Al-Andalus. You see? That's just a misnomer. Spaniard is a misnomer for Moor. So note that Spain was also in America. Note that Texas was already 6 different countries. That's why you have 6 flags. That's why you even have a, recreation park called Six Flags. It started in Texas. 6 different countries, right? It was New Spain, New France, right? It was Texas. It was Mexico, right? It was the United States, and it was another one. It was the continental. What was it? It was the continental U.S. or something like that. Texas was actually 6 different countries. Right? Because they're all jurisdictions. That's what they are. And, you got to understand it. Yeah, that's right. Many years of dogma, and it takes time, Noble. That's why many of you all that are here and that have been here for a while, you're starting to become more adept in the information, and you're starting to know how to use your documents even better. It takes time. Anything that is of value, it takes time. Easy come, easy go. Right? Easy come, easy go. My journey with the Moorish American travel document started 7 years ago. Right? And it took me 2 years before I was able to produce the first document. Right? I had to get the right connection. First, I had to get my overstanding right. So I had to study a lot of international law, a lot of different things to learn how to make the proper document, the proper kind of document. I had to do a lot of study. I had to burn a lot of midnight oil, right? For 2 years before I produced the first product. And then I had to find the proper relations that would allow me to even make the document, because that's another thing. You have to be official in another country before they're going to sit up and help you make a travel document. That's not an easy thing. That's not an easy feat to do. You know what I mean? You have to have a relationship. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's right. Yep, pass the knowledge to the youngsters because what makes me the most happy is when I'm able to make these documents for the young people and the newborn babies. I can't tell you how many newborn babies and young people have the MATD, which is great because many parents have reported that the schools weren't able to force them to vaccinate and all of this kind of stuff, right? Which is great. People, listen, my greatest accomplishment is that I'm actually helping to save lives, right? Particularly with the young people. Right? That's what I want to be remembered by. He provided something that helped save lives. Right? Right? That's what's important to me. I work hard at this. My wife, she works hard at this. She's a Chinese national, but she still loves what it is that I do. And actually, she's coming in the office tomorrow to help me out tomorrow, right? Because I still have a couple of workers. They're on vacation and they're not going to make it back to the day after tomorrow. So she said, you know what, I'm coming in the office tomorrow to help you. Right? You got Chinese over here that get more about what is going on and your status, your nationality and birthrights than some of your own damn people that's on the land trying to force you and tell you that you're supposed to be going over to Africa and some dumb stuff. Right? It's just a fact. Yeah, I hear you, Noble. It's like I said, there's a dark cloud over America. It takes some time and it takes some contemplation. It takes some medication of the mind and some reflection. Here, I'll show you I'll give you some good tools to listen to escape that reality. You'll find a lot of great information listening to this guy on YouTube. When I just want to mentally escape and just be able to stimulate my mind and have a topic to think about and dig into, right? I'll listen to some Manly P. Hall on YouTube. I'm actually subscribed to that channel, and a lot of useful information, a lot of useful knowledge and stuff to kind of get you outside of the matrix thinking. Yeah, Kurimeo Aha, he has a lot of great information. I think his worst video that he's ever put out was about Noble Drew Ali, in my personal opinion. He has great information. I love his stuff. But he made Noble Drew Ali out the way that he talked about him was like he was trying to trick people and stuff like that. And that's just not cool. If you're not part of the Moorish American community, you shouldn't do that, right? Say, look, his name is different here than it was there. Well, you have to understand back in those times, a lot of the ascendant masters and teachers and stuff, they used aliases, right? Because during those times, you couldn't come out in the 1920s and just teach information freely. There were people that would try to kill you. You understand? So he's like, look at his birth certificate and look at this. He changed his name. And it's like, man, don't use that as a basis as to the fact that you don't agree with Noble Drew Ali or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Or whatever. That's not, hell, many of us have aliases. I have an alias too. Right? That doesn't mean that I'm a fraud because I have an alias. People have aliases sometimes because of, so that they can protect the private aspect of themselves, right? Yeah, he had a video out about Noble Drew Ali and trying to say, he came out of the circus and stuff. Yeah, we know that, but why his name is Tim something, it's not Timothy Drew and all this stuff. And it's like, man, okay, what is the motive of your video? All of your other videos are great. I love Kurimeo. I love his stuff. I just feel that particular video was like, it was like it was like a hit below the belt toward Noble Drew Ali. And I don't think that was appropriate for someone like that when Noble Drew Ali is the reason why many of us are even watching his channel. Right? just to be honest. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, but all in all, good information from the brother, well illustrated. He even went into some of my family's history, the Monicans, right? Good information of the Huguenots and their relationship to the Monicans, right? And all of that, right? My ancestor is the person that wrote the book on the history of Virginia, right? Right. So my ancestry wrote the history wrote the book on the history of Virginia back in the 1700s, as he lived amongst the Monicans. Right? My family's surname and his surname is the same surname. Right? So you can look it up. Right? So that's how we know our family history, and it's in our family historical record. And, you know, it's interesting. You know, my family, they lost track of this information. Right? But when last conversation I had with my grandfather, he was trying to tell me. Right? He was honing that in on me the last time that I seen him. We're indigenous. Like, you know, like keep up the information, right? Like pass it on. That's what he was telling me. You see what I mean? And yeah, I didn't know the meaning of it at that time, but evidently he saw something in me where he was telling me information that he didn't tell the rest of the people. He didn't even tell his own children. He told me, his grandson, right? Knowing that it was going to set a seed in me in the future to do something. He saw something in my future that I didn't see. Right? And now I'm here to help you. And I've traced a lot of the information back. And like I said, not only that, discovering that one of my ancestors actually wrote the first book on the history of Virginia. Of Beverly, right? John Beverly. Right? Interesting, isn't it? Interesting how things work. My noble better lose. Peace, peace, noble. You know, y'all gotta understand. There's some nobles out here that's doing some big things, but you just don't you just don't understand it, right? But these things will begin to come to you and surface over time, and you will be surprised of some of the intelligent, high-level people that have already claimed their nationality and birthrights. Like I told you, I have a few celebrities I have, but I can't disclose who they are. You know? Right. I just, you know, I have to keep them a secret, but boy, I'm telling you, especially one of them, man. Nah, I'm going to say all of them, really. But I mean, like, one of them is super, super, super big. You'd be surprised. But my word is my bond. I can't say anything. If I did say something, I wouldn't have enough Moorish American travel documents left. Right? If I did say something, all of my MATD affiliates would become rich overnight. If I could. But my word is my bond. You know what I mean? I can't reveal who they are. Right? You know, the only one that was able to reveal themselves as having the MATD is Teddy Riley. So my noble Teddy Riley, he's a Moor. He's a Moorish American. He corrected his status. Right? But the others, they choose to remain anonymous. And Teddy Riley is big enough. I mean, he's mega. I mean, you know, that's Michael Jackson's producer, right? So he did something on his page. He showed people, hey, I got the MATD. You know, it's deep. People slipping out here, man. They concentrating on the wrong thing. Right? They concentrating on the wrong thing. Right? They're too busy concentrating on other stuff. But anyway, nobles, hope all is well. I'm getting ready to get out of here and go have some fun. It's a Dragon Boat Festival day. They have the dragon boat racing over here in China, right? Interesting, traditional boat race. And it's a beautiful day. And I just want to enjoy it. Just know that those shipments are already out. Many of them are sitting at the port already. Nothing is getting shipped out until after the holiday. So day after tomorrow, everything's back in motion. So within a few days, you'll be able to look into your membership account and see your tracking number, right? No need to contact Sharif, right? Once it's in your membership account, you already have it, right? If you go past a week and you don't see a tracking number in your membership account, then send me an email and let me know, hey, I just didn't get it. I waited a whole week and tracking number didn't show up. So what's up? All right. Any more questions before I leave? Any more questions? You know, for all of the new people, just make sure that you learn to get on the right ship. It's all about shipping, right? It's all about shipping. Your home should be a ship in dry dock, a Moorish ship, right? That's why you shouldn't be using an address. Right? That's why you shouldn't be having any mail coming to your house. Because if you have mail coming to your home, then that means that your home is still under their jurisdiction. You may be nationalized, but now your home is under their jurisdiction. You don't want to give them any reason to ever come to your home. Right? You don't want your address in their system. You want to have a box somewhere else. Right? And you want that address, that you don't want anything attached to where you live. Nobody should be randomly knocking on your door, because knocking on someone's door is an act of war. All right? Knocking on your door, on someone's door, is an act of war. Remember that. Right? If you register with them and your address is in their system and you have mail coming to your house, now they can send you a summons to court through that address, because that's all statutory. Right? Your home should be a Moorish ship on the seas of commerce. Can you mail something to a ship? No, you can't. You can't mail anything to a ship that's already on the seas, right? So no one should be able to mail anything to your house. You have to understand what is happening to you. I'm telling you. If you follow what I'm saying, you get in the right state of mind, you can't go wrong, right? Yeah, you put the zip code in square brackets, but it's still good to have a box somewhere outside to where nothing is coming to your home. No mailman is ever coming to your home. You don't want no mailman coming to your home when you're gone anyway, trying to holler at your wife, right? Your children might come out looking like the mailman. You don't want nobody coming to your home. You know what I'm saying? You got some buff mailman coming around every day. While you at work. Nobody should ever have a reason to come to your house, right? Uninvited. Never. That's how I roll. It's funny, right? But it's true. How many of these children look like the mailman? I'm telling you, they don't look like the father. They look like the mailman. You know. You got to be careful out here, nobles. I'm telling you. Sometimes women get tempted too. Don't be tripping. It ain't just you. In the past, back in the day, it was a milkman. The milkman. A lot of babies came out looking like the milkman. Now they look like the mailman now. People don't drop off milk anymore. The mailman, he took over. You don't want nobody coming to your house, right? I'm serious. If I was in America, I don't want nobody. Jehovah's Witness coming, I'm going to get that strap. Nobody better be knocking on my door, I'm telling you. Talking about we coming to teach you about the Lord. Let me teach you about the Lord. I'm going to give you 10 seconds to get off of my property with that white Jesus. 10, 9, 8. I'm telling you, you better not come knocking on my door. I'm telling you. If it's not that 12 gauge, it's gonna be that Rottweiler, right? It's gonna be something. Nobody's coming on my property. You gotta understand that. Your home should be a ship at sea. You can't easily get to it. Can't easily send anything to it. No. Right? I mean, seriously. Right? You got the delivery man knocking on your door with some Amazon and stuff like that. And, you know, he coming in, he been on that high protein diet in the gym 8 days out of a week. Your wife come to the door to sign for the package. Nah, man, nah. It's not going, nah, ain't nothing coming to my house, son. For real. You better get smart out here, nobles. Don't think, the flesh is weak. Right? Some women, they could be weak too. Just like us. The flesh is weak. You know what I mean? Next thing you know, he comes by the third time with that Amazon package. She'd be like, you know what? I think it's kind of hot outside. You want a glass of water? You want to come in for a glass of water? Oh man, be careful, my brothers. Be careful. That's straight up real, man. Temptation is something, right? This is the reason why traditionally, even in Al-Islam today, where do they get it from? They got it from the Moors. Traditionally, in Spain and in Italy, in these places, the Moors, when men come around, they would always make sure the women were in the house or the women were off to themselves, even if they were Christians. Even the Moorish Christians and the Moorish Jews did that, not just the Muslims. Right? They would always take the women out of sight. Right? You said high protein diet, man, they be out here, I'm telling you, working out 8 days a week, and there's only 7 days in a week. It's like, brother, what you doing all that working out for, and you ain't getting ready to go to battle? Brothers today, they want a 10-pack. Like, a 6-pack is not enough. They want a 10-pack today. You better be careful. I'm telling you. Especially if you've been on that neuter diet where you just can't last long, it might be very tempting to her. I'm telling you, man, they really been doing the work on us, man. I'm telling you. The more and more grains they've been introducing to our people, the more and more effeminized the men have been getting. The more and more plants they've been eating, the more and more effeminized they've been getting. And then they want to talk about, you shouldn't be eating sugar. All plants turn into sugar. All plant life has carbohydrates. This is the reason why if you're on an all plant or vegan diet, you're on a carbohydrate diet. The body operates totally different off of all carbohydrates. This is the reason why you should be eating some animal protein, even if it's fish, because the body is at least 16% protein and 16% fat. The body is less than 1% carbohydrate. Listen to me. The human body is less than 1% carbohydrate. So if you're on a carbohydrate diet, what are you replacing? You're not replacing anything. That's why most such people are nutrient deficient. Right? So you have to pick out the right vegetation to eat, and you have to also balance it out with the right proteins and fats. You know? That's what it is. So any questions? Yeah, wife better be careful. Right, man. Why do you think there's so many postings on Instagram and stuff where they got people that look like you trying to tell you about dieting and just eating plants and not drinking water and stuff? They're trying to neuter your diet. Right? That's just what it is. Because without the proper protein, you can't even have the right proper mitochondria DNA. Your mitochondria DNA is not taken care of properly without the proper, macronutrient protein. Carbs, right? Plants, right? Turn into carbs and sugar by way of what? Photosynthesis from the sun. You see? It's sugar, right? Photosynthesis is what gives plants the ability to turn into glucose, which is sugar the same. Right? So if you're trying to say that, hey, I'm supposed to be eating all vegetables and rice and stuff, there again, you're trying to give me a sugar diet, which sugar is one of the root causes of cancer. You understand? It's glucose, right? Glucose tears down what? The surface, that's above the epithelial surface of your cells. Right? Not to mention, you also have lectins in plant life. This is the reason you have to be careful and not eat all of the stuff that they're telling you to eat. Choose the vegetables that are very low in lectins. Right? Don't eat nuts. I just saw a posting today. Eat Brazil nuts every day. Okay, good way to get kidney stones and a good way to toxify yourself with omega-6 and all different kinds of stuff. Right? They're trying to neuter your diet, and this is why Instagram and all these other platforms supports these so-called brothers that's out there teaching you about dieting, because they're working for them, because they've been vaccinating your fruits and vegetables. You better be careful, right? They don't want you to be able to fight back, right? They just don't, right? So if you play around with that neutered diet for too long, you'll find out, right? Be careful. Rice, quinoa is also man-made. You have to be careful with that. You can't eat too much quinoa. Because when you're dealing with quinoa, you're dealing with, there are some omega-3s in quinoa, but I think the problem with quinoa is oxalates, if I'm not mistaken. I think quinoa is high in oxalates. You can eat it sometimes, but don't go crazy with it. Wild rice, you can eat it sometimes, but don't go crazy with it. Right? If you just stop eating oxalates for about 2 weeks, cut out all vegetables out of your diet, you'll start getting sick. Why? Because the vegetables, your liver is dumping out all of the oxalates, the poisons from all of the vegetables that you've been eating. Oxalates are like little small crystals, right? They cause joint pain and inflammation. That's in vegetation. Some vegetables don't have very little oxalates and none. But other vegetables are super high in oxalates, like spinach. You can eat enough spinach in one day that it can kill you from oxalates. Right? If you could drink 10 to 15 spinach smoothies in one day, that's enough oxalates to kill a person. But they don't tell you about that. So don't go munching on Brazil nuts and eating Brazil nuts every day and all that. You want psyllium? You want psyllium in your diet? You want psyllium in your diet? What this brother's been saying that's in Brazil nuts? Go eat some sardines. There's plenty of psyllium in that. Right? Plants are trying to kill you. You have to understand that. Everything on this planet has a defense system. Plants can't get up and just walk away like an animal can or run away. So they develop toxins, right? To stop themselves from getting eaten by pests, right? You turn around and start eating this stuff, and many of y'all are eating these vegetables raw. Don't realize that you're toxifying the body. And after you eat that vegetation, what? Because of photosynthesis, the vegetables turn into glucose in the system, which is once again sugar, carbohydrates. And you wonder why so many vegetarians and vegans are also getting cancer. Juice is processed. A blender is a food processor. If someone is telling you to go on a fast, juicing, you have to understand juice is a processed food. Even if you juice it yourself, juice is processed. Right? A fruit is not made to be juice. It's made to be eaten to have the fiber content to stop sugar spikes in the blood. Right? When they're out here telling you to juice raw, they're trying to kill you. I'm trying to tell you. Do your research. They want you to die quick. Fast off of poison. Toxify the body and spike your sugar real quick. Right? Me, I'm going to sit down and have me a black Angus steak and a side order of dates and some avocado and mind my damn business. I know what keeps me healthy. You know what I mean? I mean, serious. I've been around for almost 6 decades. Look at me. You know what I mean? I'm not trying to deal with that stuff. You know what I mean? Hello. So, any questions, nobles? I'm out. My wife is calling me. Got to get ready to go. So, like I said, please check your email in the next few days for your tracking, not your email, but your membership account in the next few days for the information. And let's get with it. Peace and love, peace and paradise. Thank you all for joining.